Suhas, tell me, what do we make of this exodus which happened on Sunday? 5,000 people in 3 hours, and they were there. What's the first takeaway?
I think there is, I think there is small correction. I think in the beginning you have said there are about 30,000 refugees. The number of refugees, Myanmar is refugees in Mizoram, as per the public relations minister in September 2023 was about 60,000. So if 5,000 people have come, it would mean 65,000 people. So it basically shows that, if you look at Mizoram, the population of Mizoram is about 13 lakhs. And in the last 1 year, you have close to about 80,000 people who have come there. 65,000 people from Myanmar, about 3,000 people from Bangladesh, Chittagong Hill Tracts. Then you have about 12,000, 15,000 people from Manipur. I think it indicates one particular thing. I think our policy with respect to Myanmar is absolutely wrong. I say that simply because India is one of the 5 countries which had been arming the junta. Junta has been using these arms against its own population, and those populations have been entering into Mizoram, Nagaland, Manipur, and elsewhere. It's another matter that Manipur is not the only state which is refusing to do biometric census. In fact, Nagaland also refused to do that. And Manipur, that is one of the main reasons for the conflict. So we have been importing the problem of Myanmar by funding or by arming the junta. So I think the approach which we have taken so far is very wrong, and we fail to understand that the conflict in Myanmar is actually destabilizing the entire region. And I say this with one particular thing in mind, that there are about 1.5 million Rohingya refugees in the Cox's Bazar, which is next to the Chittagong tracks. And you see that, over a period of time, the UN agencies will withdraw and Myanmar will not take them back, and this population will explode. Even if you look at the data of the UNHCR at this point of time, the number of refugees inside the camps in the Cox's Bazar has been reducing. Instead of increasing because of the high fertility, it is decreasing. It means they are going out of the camps. So I think the Chittagong Hill Track, Cox's Bazar, then you have the Mizoram, Nagaland, no conflict, but Manipur, you could see actually Myanmar has destabilized the entire eastern part of India. And I think we still lack a cogent policy how to deal with the junta, because we are fearful of the junta using the insurgent groups from this side of the border. But I think it needs a little bit more calibrated approach, practical approach, rather than whatever it might come up. If so long there are no conflicts in Manipur, sorry, in Mizoram, for example, let it go. I mean, I don't think this is the approach we can take at this point of time.
Okay, so as you know, because you said it, what I meant was that I had divided the entire exodus into multiple parts, which is those who came from Manipur, those who are already inside, and the 5,000 who came on Sunday itself. They entered. So we had those visual. Mr. Azad, what do we make of this? This should have been the first headline, part of a national narrative. On single day, you have 5,000 refugees there. You have more than 65,000 refugees in Mizoram. It doesn't make it to the headlines. It just doesn't make it to the headlines. I'll come to you, Suhas. It doesn't make it to the headlines. So what is the security lesson for us? We have seen that the whole instability in the Manipur was premised on the ideas that outsiders have taken over the land.
I think on a macro perspective, it's actually a security nightmare, I would say. I mean, whether it's the immigrants from Bangladesh or the Lankan refugees during the rebellion times, and the when the Lankan army was very, very hard on the Tamil people over there, to people, the Hindus from Pakistan, to the Rohingyas who have already arrived, we are having a population burst virtually. And I totally agree with the previous speaker when he's laid out his concerns that how it will severely impact our social fabric. So we are not in a capacity to absorb anymore. The second point is that it is actually a security situation which we have to face up to, and I'm surprised why this was not aired. In fact, somewhere in the media I have read also that they are talking about an influx of 9,000 people instead of 5,000. So, if in a state of 13 lakhs, as pointed out, we already have refugees of 85,000, and we don't know how many of them will go back, it's a very serious situation. Third, Kartikeya, before we get into that, set of problems on the border which we had earlier of the Northeast rebels in Burmese territory, and we might be even alleged that some of the rebels who are fighting the Jalta military Janta are on this side. So if we don't do biometrics, we don't do a proper tabulation, we don't do a proper any kind of a management issue, it's going to lead to a very, very serious crisis. And the fourth point is today it's a very, very important point to sort of to have a serious talk with the Burmese that we cannot manage anything on the border. We don't have proper fencing. The villages are coming this side. Even earlier, the bordering villages, they come this side and sometimes they go after overnight. In this particular case, we are really not sure, because since 2021 we are facing this problem of influx, and there is no indication that is going to end. There is a very fragile piece already in Manipur, and this problem in Mizoram, if it persists, I'm afraid this is going to lead to a very, very serious crisis. And I think one needs to look into it and have a very serious talk with the Burmese government.
I am also joined by Robert Zoram Tulanga, Chairman Relief Committee, Sub-Headquarters, the Young Mizo Association from Champai District, Mizoram, directly. He's on phone line with me. We have not been able to get his audio. So, Robert, am I audible to you?
Yeah, audible.
Okay, I am audible to you. Okay. Can you tell me what happened in Champai in last 48 hours? How many people have crossed? Are they being audited? Are they being, is there a roster which is being made for them? Can you just take us through the situation in Champai?
Okay. Last 48 hours, we got some incident across the boundary. Nearby Zokota, it's only a kilometers away from here. Then bomb blasting occurs many times, then gunshot occurs many times. That's why the influx of refugees is rising very high. We've got more than 5,000 people come across the boundary for their life, for their safety. Now we got more than 5,000 refugees only within 48 hours.
You are saying that thousands of refugees have come. What is the estimate, Robert? How many? A lot of people are saying it's more than 5,000.
Yeah, they are surely crossing 5,000, but we cannot count them by head because there is no proper arrangement from the government as well as from the central government. There is no proper receipt. Then there is no proper arrangement for these refugees. That's why they are locating in somewhere wherever it is necessary. This is necessarily. That's why we cannot count them by head to head, but we can say that they are surely crossed 5,000.
Okay, and Robert, they were allowed entry. Where have you put 5,000 people? Obviously they can't merge into general Champai residential area.
Yeah, we got some relief camp run by Young Mizo Association, and then we have some community halls also. We kept them in some place. Then some of them were also accompanied by their relatives. That's why they got relatives out here. Then they accompanied their relatives.
So, what is the position of the Young Mizo Association? It's a dominant association. In fact, YMA, as known, has a say when it comes to politics in Mizoram. So, what are your views? Because recently, when the whole issue of biometrics came up, Robert, the state government refused to get the biometrics done, saying that we will not do it.
Yeah, that's right. we are objecting that biometric enrollment because central government doesn't do anything. We are facing a problem more than 2 years regarding the refugees, but central government doesn't do anything, especially for the refugees. They doesn't give even single rights also. That's why we are facing big problem. That's why we cannot accept whatever they are trying to do. That's why we are refusing the biometric census out here.
And lastly, before I let go of you, but that is not going to solve the problem. Ultimately, they will have to go back to their country.
Yeah, they will surely go back to their country because they have no resident place out here. They don't have any proper identification also. That's why they have to go back. Surely they will go back. But one thing we need is that we need a proper relief we need a proper relief from the central government as well.
Okay.